Have you ever started?
Can if you want, yeah. Do you want to get your salaries done?
Oh, you get things in life. No, but there's always go relax it. What's that sort of thing? This is the second five, yeah?
Yeah.
It goes in French, goes down.
All your good wishes.
Yeah.
Miss, can I bring my clothes out too?
all to St. Carthage Hall. Thank you all so much for coming to this very special event. I'm sure most of you know about this project, but I want to put it in kind of wider context. This space is run by Lismore Castle Arts, and this is a new project for us under the auspices of St. Carthage Hall. And St. Carthage Hall is very important to us because it's a building assistant community, and we want it to be used by the community and experience all the things that happen here, one of the things that happen. So earlier this year, we announced a competition called A Space for Lismore, where we invited local people to submit ideas as to how they'd like to use this hall during the winter time. And we got a great proposal from Anne Bennett and from Jane from the school about this whole foundation exhibition. And a group of local people helped us select the programme, and they were very enamoured by this idea, especially the idea of kind of multiculturalism, by bringing Indian culture back to Lismore, but also then highlighting the good work that Blackwater are involved in with the whole foundation. I don't want to say too much. I want to introduce Kelly, who's one of the students, and then I'll get Jenny from the whole foundation who will show it shortly. So, big round of applause for Kelly.
On behalf of all the students, I would like to welcome you all here to the Hope Foundation exhibition. This time last year, we were fundraising in order to raise enough money to go on this trip. After months of hard work, we were ready to go on what I can only describe as the most life-changing experience for all of us. Throughout the trip, we saw the projects that the Hope Foundation ran in order to make the people's lives of Calcutta better. From orthopaedic hospitals, schools in the heart of slums, and rehabilitation centres. The work that the Hope Foundation is doing is truly inspirational, and we hope that their great work is shown here this evening. We decided to run this exhibition in order to give back to the public that were so kind and generous during our fundraising, and to show people the deep poverty that the people of Calcutta face every day. On behalf of all of us, I would like to thank everybody who helped our fundraising efforts for contributions both big and small. I would like to thank our parents, because without your support, this would not have been possible. I would like to thank the Castle Arts Gallery for letting us use this wonderful space. And finally, I would like to mention 5 women that made this trip and exhibition possible. Firstly, to Art Fitzgerald, because without her volunteering to go, none of us would have been able to experience this trip, and for her support and kindness on the trip, which she was our second man. Caroline and Miss Murphy for organising this trip and for their continuing support. Without Miss Murphy, this exhibition wouldn't have been possible, so we thank you. And finally, 2 women who are handed to the almighty task of helping us put this together, Miss Bennett and Miss Prendergast. Without our endless lunchtime meetings, your dedication and hard work, we wouldn't be here this evening. For that we thank you. We hope you take as much out of this exhibition as we have taken out of this trip. Thank you.
For a great speech. I'd like to ask Jenny from the Hope Foundation to officially come and say a few words and to open the show. So put your hands together, Jenny.
I'm delighted to be here this evening and to see many familiar faces, especially on the walls, of children that I know from the homes. I've been in Calcutta for 11 years, so I suppose I've seen children from a very young age develop into, particularly the older girls here in this photograph in Konditia, where I live on the 3rd floor of that building, develop into beautiful young women and really getting an opportunity to make choices in life, like we can make choices, even though sometimes they may be limited due to circumstances. But at the same time, for many of these young girls and boys that we have in our homes, they would probably have continued to live on the street, and just the same cycle would have continued for them and their families. So I would like to say a huge word of thanks to, I'm not going to remember all the names, but Killian in particular, who said a lovely few words. And it is, as Killian says, a life-changing experience. And I think I saw over the last few summers, when I see transition year students who would have come from various schools to visit for a week, coming back as long-term volunteers or short-term volunteers, when they leave school and go on to college. Last summer we had 7 students who had been to Calcutta as transition students and came back to volunteer for a month or 2 or 3. They really contribute to the projects. They relate very well with the young people to young people. The rest of us are kind of grandmothers now. And it's amazing, you know, the chain that they are in the children's lives. Sometimes you might say, oh sure, it makes no difference. I can assure you it makes a huge difference to those children. Luckily I met Anne up in the school when I visited up there just now, and a big thanks to Anne for all her support, to Anne here and Jane, and your principal and vice principal. I think without the school support as well, it can be difficult, and I think particularly to all the young girls and young men here who came out and visited last year, was it this year? This year. And perhaps you can say a few words if you wish yourselves. And also for putting on this exhibition, I think, which is a wonderful way of saying thanks to people who have donated very generously. I know we live in difficult times ourselves, but I suppose sometimes we do what we can, even in our own difficult times, and every little drop makes the ocean, as Mother Teresa would say, and certainly every euro does make a big difference. I was saying the other day, even to buy a butler's bar of chocolate, which is €2 now, and in rupees outside it's about 100 rupees. So a family would easily live on 2 to 3 days, you know, on 100 rupees, or even 4 days for some children and families. So, you know, it does go a long way. And the other thing, and I may as well say it now, I suppose people often ask, you know, in relation to fundraising, how much of it does actually reach the people. And I was only checking in the office the other day, you know, and at least 91 cents in every euro goes directly to the projects. So it's good to be able, and we do have to have a certain amount of the other 8, 9 on administration, because we do need to monitor the projects very carefully. We have a team in Calcutta who monitor 6 to 7 people. We will have over 500 staff in total employed in all the projects. So to monitor and for accountability, we do need a team, and we also need a fundraising team here in Ireland. So I would also like finally say thanks to these 2 lovely gentlemen here for giving you the hall this evening and tomorrow on Sunday for the exhibition, and I wish you every success with it, and thank you so much for coming this evening, and thank you for all that you do for Hope and the children.
Thank you, Jenny, for putting that all context for rewarding the students and saying how much it means to the Hope Foundation, but also for people like that. I think finally, a couple of things. First of all, to say the show's open Saturday and Sunday, so if you've got friends and family who haven't seen it, do bring them down. It's important to get as many people through this space to see the good work you're doing. It's important to kind of raise awareness of the project. I just want to say as well, we have another event next weekend, which is a film festival. Another student from Blackwater has put together a youth film festival, so that's next Saturday at 4:30. We're doing screening in here. And the final thing I want to say is well done to the 9 students who went to Calcutta and produced this amazing exhibition. We show artists from all across the world, and it's good to have you guys in that kind of context. Your work is as colourful, as informative, and as inspiring as anything else we've had here. So well done, and I think we should give them all a round of applause.